Moby-Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. In token of my admiration for his genius, this book is inscribed to Nathaniel Hawthorne. Etymology, supplied by a late consumptive usher to a grammar school. The pale usher, threadbare in coat, heart, body, and brain, I see him now. He was ever dusting his old lexicons and grammars with a queer handkerchief, mockingly embellished with all the gay flags of all the known nations of the world. He loved to dust his old grammars. It somehow mildly reminded him of his mortality. Etymology. While you take in hand to school others and to teach them by what name a whale fish is to be called in our tongue, leaving out through ignorance the letter H, which almost alone maketh up the significance of the word, you deliver that which is not true. Hacklet. Whale. Swedish and Danish. Haval. This animal is named from roundness or rolling, and for in Danish, havalt is arched or vaulted. Webster's Dictionary. Whale. It is more immediately from the Dutch and German wallen, as in walien, to roll, to wallow. Richardson's Dictionary. Leviathan, Hebrew. Ketos, Greek. Cetus, Latin. Wal, Anglo-Saxon. Haval, Danish. Wal, Dutch. Hawal, Swedish. Havalur, Icelandic. Whale, English. Baleine, French. Balena, Spanish. Piki nue nue, Fengi. Fenni nui nui, Eromangoan. Extracts, supplied by a sub-librarian. It will be seen that this mere painstaking borrower and grub-worm of a poor devil of a sub appears to have gone through the long Vaticans and street stalls of the earth, picking up whatever random allusions to whales he could find anyways find in any book whatsoever, sacred or profane. Therefore, you must not, in every case at least, take the higgledy-piggledy whale statements, however authentic, in these extracts for veritable gospel cetology. Far from it. As touching the ancient authors generally, as well as the poets here appearing, these extracts are solely valuable or entertaining as affording a glancing bird's eye view of what has been promiscuously said, thought, fancied, and sung of Leviathan by many nations and generations, including our own. So fare thee well, poor devil of a sub, who commentator I am. Thou belongest to that hopeless sallow tribe which no wine in this world will ever warm, and for whom even pale sherry would be too rosy strong, by with whom one sometimes loves to sit and feel poor devilish too, and grow conventional upon tears, and say to them bluntly, with eyes full and glassy and empty glasses, and in not altogether unpleasant sadness, give it up, subs, for by now much of the more pains ye take to please the world, by so much the more shall ye for ever go thankless. Would that I could clear out Hampton Court and Tuileries for ye, but gulp down your tears and hie aloft to the royal mast with your hearts, for your friends who have gone before are clearing out the 7-storied heavens and making refugees of long-pampered Gabriel, Michael, and Raphael against your coming. Here ye strike but splintered hearts together, there ye shall strike unsplintered glasses. Extracts. And God created great whales. Genesis. Leviathan maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hoary. Job. Now the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah. Jonah. There go the ships. There is that Leviathan whom thou hast made to play therein. Psalms. In that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Isaiah. And what thing soever besides cometh within the chaos of this monster's mouth, be it beast, boat, or stone, down it goes all incontinently, that foul great swallow of his, and perish in the bottomless gulf of his punch. Holland's Plutarch's Morals. The Indian Sea breedeth the most and biggest fishes that are, among which the whales and whirlpools called baleinae take up as much in length as 4 acres or 8 arpents of land. Holland's Pliny. Scarcely had we proceeded 2 days on the sea, when about sunrise a many great whales and other monsters of the sea appeared. Among the former, one was a most monstrous size. This came toward us open-mouthed, raising the waves on all sides, and bleeding the sea before him into a foam. Tukes Lucien, The True History. He visited this country also with a view of catching horse whales, which had bones of very great value for their teeth, of which he brought some to the king. The best whales were catched in his own country, of which some were 48, some 50 yards long. He said that he was one of 6 who had killed 60 in 2 days. Other, or Orkin's verbal narrative taken down from his mouth by King Alfred, A.D. 890. And whereas all the other things, whether beast or vessel, that enter into the dreadful gulf of this monster's, whale's, mouth, are immediately lost and swallowed up, the sea gudgeon retires into it in great security, and there sleeps. Montague, Apology for Raymond Sebond. Let us fly, old Nick, take me if it is not Leviathan described by the noble prophet Moses in the life of patient Job. Rebellious. The whale's liver was 2 cartloads. Stow's Annals. The great Leviathan that maketh the seas to seethe like boiling pan. Lord Bacon's version of the Psalms. Touching that monstrous bulk of the whale or orc, we have received nothing certain. They grow exceedingly fat, insomuch that an incredible quantity of oil will be extracted out of one whale. Ibn, History of Life and Death. The sovereignest thing on earth is parmaceti for an inward bruise. King Henry. Very like a whale. Hamlet. Which to recur no skill of leech's art mote him avail, but to return again to his wound worker that with lovely dart, denting his beast, had bred his restless pain, like as the wounded whale to shore flies from the main. The Fairy Queen. Immense as whales, the motion of which vast bodies can in a peaceful calm trouble the ocean till it boil. Sir William Davenant, Preface to Godebert. The spermaceti is, men might justly doubt, since the learned Hoffmanus in his work of 30 years saith plainly, Nescio quid sit. Sir T. Brown of Spermaceti and the Spermaceti Well, vid his V.E. Like Spencer's Talus with his iron flail, he threatens ruin with his ponderous tail. His fixed javelins in his side he wears, and on his back a grove of pikes appears. Walter's Battle of the Summer Islands. By art is created that great Leviathan, called a commonwealth or state, in Latin civitas, which is but an artificial man. Opening sentence of Hobbes' Leviathan. Silly man's soul swallowed it without chewing, as if it had been a sprat in the mouth of a whale. Holy War. That sea beast, Leviathan, which God of all his works created hugest that swim the ocean stream. Paradise Lost. There Leviathan, hugest of living creatures, on the deep, stretched like a promontory, sleeps or swims, and seems a moving land, and at his gills draws in, and at his trunk spouts out a sea. Ibid. The mighty whales which swim in a sea of water, and have a sea of oil swimming in them. Fuller's Profane and Holy State. So close behind some promontory lie the huge leviathans to attend their prey, and give no chance, but swallow in the fry, which though their gaping jaws mistake the way. Dryden's Annus Mirabilis. While the whale is floating at the stern of the ship, they cut off his head, and tow it with a boat as near the shore as it will come, but it will be around 12 or 13 foot water. Thomas Eggard's 10 Voyages to Spitzbergen in Purchas. In their way they saw many whales sporting in the ocean, and in wantonness fuzzing up the water through their pipes and vents, which nature has placed on their shoulders. Sir T. Herbert's Voyages into Asia and Africa, Harris Cole. And there they saw such huge troops of whales that they were forced to proceed with a great deal of caution for fear they should run their ship upon them. Schouten's 6 Circumnavigation. We set sail from Albid, wind NE northeast, in the ship called the Jonas in the Whale. Some say the whale can't open his mouth, but that is a fable. They frequently climb up the mast to see whether they can see a whale, for the first discoverer has a ducat for his pains. I was told of a whale taken near Hitland that above a barrel of herring in his belly. One of our harpooners told me that he caught once a whale in Spitzbergen that was white all over. A Voyage to Greenland, A.D. 1671, Harris Cole. Several whales have come in upon the coast, Fife, anno 1652. 180 foot in length of the whalebone kind came in, which, as I was informed, beside a vast quantity of oil, did afford 500 weight of baleen. The jaws of it stand for a gate in the garden of Pitferin. Sibbald's, Fife, and Kinross. Myself have agreed to try whether I can master and kill the spermaceti well, for I would never hear of such of that sort that was killed by any man, such as the fierceness and swiftness. Richard Stafford's letter from the Bermudas, Trans A.D. 1668. Whales in the sea, God's voice obey. N.E. Primer. He saw also the abundance of large whales, there being more in the southern seas, as I may say, by 100 to 1 than we have to the northward of us. Captain Crawley's Voyage round the Globe, A.D. 1729. And the breath of the whale is frequently attended with such an insupportable smell as to bring on a disorder of the brain. Ulloa's South America. To 50 chosen silps of special note, we trust the important charge, the petticoat. Oft have we known that sevenfold fence to fail, though stiff with hoops and armed with ribs of whale. Rape of the Lock. If we compare land animals in respect to magnitude with those that take up their abode in the deep, we shall find that they will appear contemptible in comparison. The whale is doubtless the largest animal in creation. Goldsmith, Natural History. If you would write a fable for little fishes, you would make them speak like great whales. Goldsmith to Johnson. In the afternoon, we saw what was supposed to be a rock, but it was found to be a dead whale, which some Asiatics had killed, and there were towed ashore. They seemed to endeavor to conceal themselves behind the whale in order to avoid being seen by us. Cook's Voyage. The larger whales they seldom venture to attack. They stand in so great dread of some of them that when out at sea they are afraid to mention even their names, and carry dung, brimstone, juniper wood, and some other articles of the same nature in their boats in order to terrify and prevent their too near approach. Uno von Troil's Letters of Banks and Solanders, Voyage to Iceland, 1772. The spermaceti whale found by Nantekos is an active, fierce animal and requires vast address and boldness in the fisherman. Thomas Jefferson's Whale Memorial to the French Minister in 1788. And pray, sir, what in the world is equal to it? Edmund Burke's reference in Parliament to the Nantucket whale fishery. Spain, a great whale stranded on the shores of Europe. Edmund Burke, somewhere. A tenth branch of the king's ordinary revenue said to be grounded on the consideration of his guarding and protecting the seas from pirates and robbers is the right to royal fish, which are whale and sturgeon, and these, whether known ashore or caught near the coast, are the property of the king. Blackstone.